The Resilient Jenkins is an account on TikTok of a family of 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and now they're finally being evicted.
So as I'm sure you're well aware now, everyone and their brother has made it their business that we're being evicted, and we have a move-out date in less than a month.
And let's just say that they're not exactly handling this too well, especially because it coincides with some serious allegations from some of these kids' mothers of huge amounts of previous neglect and abuse. But before we dive into any of that, be sure to subscribe, because I'm watching you, and I'll know if you disobey. I won't do anything, because I'm a nice guy. But I will judge you heavy. And if someone pisses in your fish tank, for legal reasons, it wasn't me, but don't say I didn't warn you. Anyway, for long-time viewers, you'll know that I have made 2 videos previously on this channel about this family before, and one of the big talking points in those 2 videos is that Stephanie, the mother who runs the account, was in fact pregnant, and, you know, as life goes, she has now given the baby. The baby has been delivered. And just to get us back into the swing of things, let's look at the new sleeping arrangement now that a new human being has been introduced to the family. So yeah, as you can see, some of the kids do have beds, and some of the kids, in fact, do not have beds. And if you remember, one of the big complaints that I had in my last video about this family, or the last 2 videos, in fact, because it is, like, one of the biggest issues that they have, is that not all of these children have beds to sleep in. And to be fair, that is to be expected when you live in a 1-bedroom apartment in a family of 7. Like, sleeping on the cold, hard floor is one thing if it's every now and then when you go on holiday and you don't have a bed or something of the like. Or I don't know, maybe you broke your bed because you farted on it wrong and it just imploded on itself and you have to sleep on the floor for a couple of days while you get it fixed. Whatever, right? There are freak instances where that would happen. But when there's 5 children sleeping in the same room as you, in the living room, next to all the dirty onions that have been thrown on the floor, next to all the cat piss as well, because they have 4 cats. Let's not forget about that. The point is that even if by some miracle those children were still getting 8 hours of sleep every night, which, by the way, for kids that young, they probably need more than 8 hours of sleep, but let's hypothetically say they are getting the perfect amount of sleep that they need every night. It still wouldn't be good enough because they're not getting good quality sleep. It just isn't possible to get enough quality sleep every night when you're sleeping on the cold, hard rock floor next to the kitchen where dishes haven't been cleaned properly and all the cats are roaming about you, pissing and shitting everywhere and not being cleaned up properly. And one of the other huge complaints that I had in the last video was how this family was willingly having more children, right? Stephanie has made it a goal of hers years back, by the way, that she wants to have as many children as humanly possible. And I don't know if that's a goal she still wants to have. I would imagine that with the eviction and everything going on alongside that, having another child is not exactly on the forefront of her mind, but knowing her, like, it really is difficult to tell, because you would have assumed that the situation they were in before she got pregnant with this one also would have been a situation where having another kid wasn't on the forefront of your mind, but abra-fucking-cadabra, here we are. Look, I don't think anybody's ever gotten any shit on the Resilient Jenkins front for saying that they should not be having this many children. But unfortunately, as we covered in the last video, Stephanie's goal from the start of this TikTok account was to become TikTok famous. Some of her first videos on the account was like, let's get this to 10k subscribers so I can achieve my dream of being a TikTok mother or whatever.
Trying to post a viral video on here feels like screaming for help in the middle of a death metal concert. Like, yo, see me. Put me in the fucking algorithm. I'm here. I'm posting daily. I'm doing everything I possibly can to make edits and make more appealing videos that people will want to see. So, what the give me a breakthrough, TikTok. Just fucking post my shit on people's For You page, please. In my 3 years of posting, I've only had one video that was about to go viral. In like 2 minutes of posting it, it had 65 comments. But it was so nasty, and I wasn't in a mental place to handle all that hate yet. Now, come at me. Put all the hate you want in my comments. Whatever, as long as it's pushing the algorithm. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the hate. Because apparently that's how you grow.
So in a way, these kids aren't even kids to her. They're just sort of pawns that she can use for her TikTok stardom. It fucking blew my mind that their landlord was allowing them to stay in this piece of filth, by the way, because I would assume that you wouldn't want any of that being done to your property. Well, now they're being evicted, so I guess this new kid was the straw that broke the camel's back. Here's the first video that Stephanie put out of her calmly responding to everybody talking about her eviction. There's no anger in this video at all.
So as I'm sure you're well aware now, everyone and their brother has made it their business that we're being evicted, and we have a move-out date in less than a month. Like I said before, I could give a fuck Look what people have to say about us online.
Yeah, everybody's made it their business that my family's being evicted. Are you sure about that? I feel like you've made it our business by constantly shoving your family in our faces. Look, that is slightly facetious. As much as they show their family online, at the end of the day, it isn't really any of our business. But you also can't complain that people are commenting on your family status, on the status of your household, when you're constantly showing it to us in a fucking damaged and downtrodden, awful state. I mean, just the very base of this whole thing. How can you be a family of 7 in a 1-bedroom apartment and not expect anybody on the internet to complain about that or tell you that that is in fact a little bit strange and you probably shouldn't be bringing more children in willingly? You better hope this mum never cooks anything with fiber in it, because one bad fart and the whole family has to go into fucking lockdown. If one person in this household gets sick, a new virus is starting, everyone's fucked. Everyone's so fucked. Because if it starts spreading, you only have one toilet. And you're all sleeping in the same room next to the same piss and the same shit. It's just not healthy, it's not helpful, and you're sat here complaining that people are complaining about it. And look, there's no doubt that some people are just being genuine twats. There's a lot of people online and in the real world who just love to dog on poor people because classism is unfortunately a huge problem all over the world. But especially in the West, under our epic capitalist society, not to get too political, there's this huge stigma around poor families that they're just lazy and they're bums and they need to work themselves out of it. And there is no doubt in my mind that possibly even the majority of people commenting on the Resilient Jenkins page, making videos on them, are going at them from that point of view. So I don't blame this mother exactly for being annoyed at some of the critiques that some people have that might be unreasonable. Because most of the time, I feel like those people are out of touch and need to shut the fuck up, quite frankly. But in a situation like this, when I look at somebody like Drew, who colors car tires for a living, doesn't even have a job, it's like, I hate to say it, but you need to get a job, you fucking bum. You have 5 children to take care of, pal.
So like I was saying, after a long day of reflecting, if I really want to snap back at either of these people, really all I have to say to y'all is you're welcome. The only reason your videos get any views is because of the negative, untrue narrative you've set up about other people. I mean, let that sink in. Your content wouldn't get views if you were to do anything genuine about yourself. Yet you post gossip-worthy content, bashing other mamas, and you get the views. So really, you should be thanking us mamas that your content gets any views. Even just a few hours I spent wondering if I was going to snap back at anybody really just left this negative, icky feeling in my that I just don't like anymore. There's definitely a point in my life where I gave everybody some negative energy. I've since then worked on myself.
Okay, side note, don't wash your chicken. I know this is like a small nitpick in this video. A lot of people talk about... You know what? There are loads of people who... If I say that I don't wash my chicken, I'm sure some of you right now watching this video have seen me say that I don't wash my chicken and gone, oh, what the fuck? What is it? I can't believe I'm watching this person, this fucking disgusting cretin. He's gone back to the caveman times. Of course you need to wash your chicken. No, I'm telling you guys, I've worked in food before. I've worked in catering. I've done that shit. You're not supposed to wash your bastard chicken. All it does is potentially splash little bits of salmonella all over your bastard kitchen. So unless you want free laxatives for you and the whole family, I would highly recommend you don't wash your chicken. Unless you have a pet chicken. You can wash your pet chicken if it's like alive, but a dead bit of chicken breast, leave it, right? Just cook it. The bacteria, the germs on it will all dissipate when you cook it. If you plan on eating it raw, then maybe wash your chicken, but be very, very thorough with it and make sure it don't splash anywhere. For legal reasons, do not eat your chicken raw. That was just a dryly told joke. Anyway, now onto the more serious shit. I don't know exactly what this girl's talking about when she talks about people lying about her and her family and making gossip or whatever. It's like, you know, it's all on camera. Like, it is on camera. It is well documented that you have 5 children. You're choosing to have more. We can see your whole TikTok account. There's not much to make up. We see in your time lapses how you clean your house, the mistakes you make when you do your dishwasher or whatever. We see the 4 cats lounging about, pissing on the floor and shitting in places that you don't clean up. Me sitting on camera and saying that you do in fact do those things by watching the videos that you are posting doesn't count as gossip or lies. It's fact.
We got 19 days until move out date. Yeah, you heard that right, 19 days. So here's to one of the last Sunday resets in our home before we move. As excited as I am for new growth opportunities for our family and moving into a better situation, I'm definitely a little bittersweet. This is the home that's housed us for the past 3 years, the home that we've grown our little family in. I mean, we've had two family Christmases here and multiple birthdays. We added 2 awesome members to our family.
We've added 2 awesome members to our family. Like, I get it. I'm not really making fun of that because that's, like, fair enough. But could you imagine if she went on the camera and was like, we've added 1 awesome member to the family. The other one, I'm not too sure about that one. Kind of fucking disgusting. Kind of regret having him. But this one's cool. I mean, to drop the ironic act for a second, obviously, it's not a good thing that they are being evicted. They had it coming to them. I'm not exactly surprised it's happening. It was only a matter of time in the condition that you're leaving the house in. But obviously, it's not a good thing, especially because, from my knowledge, they don't really have anywhere else to go to. But they haven't got a place booked in that they're certain about, at least at this point. I suppose the only option they might have is to go to their parents' or a sibling's house, if they have any that are willing to house them, but there's a possibility that they don't have that either. I think it would be disingenuous for me to sit here and just take the piss and act like this is all hunky-dory and that they're getting what came to them. Because whilst, yes, they are making a lot of mistakes and they are fucking idiots and they're horrible people, there are also 5 children involved in this whole thing who deserve a home, who deserve a place to sleep in. Because children don't deserve just a level of survival. They deserve to live in a comfortable living environment that they can actually foster in and develop fruitfully. And that'll be pretty difficult if they don't even have a house. Like, that is the one thing that is worse than this place right here, is no place at all. I would assume that if they get evicted and they have nowhere to go to, that the kids will be taken in by some sort of foster care system. But that comes with its whole host of problems as well. Like, I don't even know if that'd be better than this. Potentially it could be, but potentially it could also be worse. And there's also a very high probability that the children will also be split up from each other, like they will no longer live with each other, which could suck because I'm guessing that they're quite close. It's just a fucking shit situation, to be honest with you. Like, there's not a lot of good things that come from this. And to an extent, they have my sympathies. But only to an extent. The kids have all my sympathy. The parents, maybe like 8, but I'll give them like 9... I'll give you 11%. You've got 11% sympathy.
18 days until move-out date, and we've yet to be accepted into a new place yet. In fact, one of the first places that we put an application in for came back with the result really quick and denied us because of a bankruptcy on my record. Now, I bring that up because bankruptcies are public knowledge, and you guys are all fishing for everything, so you would have figured that out on your own as it is. And I'm sorry, but there's just something wrong with these application fees, because of spending $120 just to be denied, it gets pretty discouraging when you're already trying to be careful with your finances, and there's a high potential you're going to have to put in multiple applications for multiple places.
Okay, I'm upping the sympathy points from 11% to 13%, because what the fuck are application fees? Those do not exist here, and those sound extortionate and inhumane. You need to pay just to apply for a house or a flat that you want to rent without the possibility of actually getting it. Application fees only exist here if you want to, like, build a property. I had never heard of having to pay to apply to live in a flat or a house. That'd be awful.
I seen this comment that someone said they calculated up how much we'd be making on social media, and it's like 18 grand a month. Man, I freaking wish. Bear with me. I'm working on very little sleep. I'm tired and I'm trying to figure all this out, so I'm a little bit stressed out. So this isn't mine and Drew's first time actually trying to seek out other housing. We tried about 1.5 years ago. We were denied for making like 120 less than the minimum income. And then of course the bankruptcy had come up at that point as well. And I got my mom to think that I have a bankruptcy on my record, but that's a story for another day.
I'd be very interested to hear how your bankruptcy is somehow your mum's fault. It's never on you, is it? Nothing is ever your fault. What the fuck? How did these kids get here? Why did the pizza delivery man give me 2 fucking children along with my pepperoni? It's like, no, this is actually your fault. It's kind of your fault that you can't get a place to live in. As much as it sucks, you have 2 people, 5 children, and no jobs amongst any of them. You have one flow of passive income from TikTok that, according to you, doesn't even make that much. And looking at your views and shit, yeah, I don't imagine you are making 18 grand a month. I don't imagine that you're making a negligible amount of money, however. But I also don't have a hard time believing that places aren't willing to take you in on that income, considering how many children you have and considering your jobless husband. Like, that is not hard for me to believe at all. Maybe if Drew got a fucking job, you'd have an easier time finding a place to live in. All I'm saying is, if I was renting you an apartment, I would not exactly think you were the most reliable clientele ever. And I would not blame anybody for deciding to up with the next person who decides to apply, because their application is likely to be infinitely better than yours. But that being said, it does suck that you have to pay $120 for your application. Also, side note, the transitions in this video fucking suck. Not a personal dig, it's unrelated, it just annoys me as a video editor.
By saying thank you to everybody who's taken the time to reach out and let us know of housing resources that you know of. Both Drew and myself have called every single one of those resources, as well as every resource 211 has given us. But unfortunately, just like we were met with months ago when we tried to relocate, every resource that I've called is just tapped out in this area. We're not completely locked into staying in this area. We are open to moving a little bit out of the area if that's what we need to do. But it would be great to stay in the area and keep the kids in the school they're well established in. Like I mentioned, our income has not changed too drastically from the last time that we tried to apply for other apartments. That being said, we still don't qualify income-wise for anything more than a 2-bedroom. Maximum capacity for most 2-bedrooms is 5 people, and we have 7. Of course, it would be incredibly ideal to be in a 3 or 4-bedroom, but income-wise, we still can't afford that. I'm quite frankly sick of seeing comments about y'all acting like this is just on Drew and he's some kind of deadbeat. He didn't just outwardly quit working just because I started making money on social media. Back when Drew was working his W-2 jobs, he had a tremendous health decline, and that is why we made the choice to start doing self-employment. And when it seems like the right time, we'll open up to our community about those health issues. Okay, bye-bye now.
Drew definitely can work, by the way. And before we get into any of that, because I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, who are you to fucking... You don't know these people. How do you know that? We'll get into Drew later on, because there'll be a whole section dedicated to this piece of shit. And also, another side note, I've never heard anybody in America refer to a real normal job as a W-2 job. Like, no, they're just called jobs, love. If your husband's healthy enough to paint fucking car tires whenever he wants to, he's healthy enough to sit in an office and type some shit out every now and then. I know there's more to an office job than that, but you know what I mean. Like, he is healthy enough to work in an office or any other type of job, like retail or whatever. Fucking painting car tires, it's not gonna do anything. You're not even painting the car. You're specifically going for the tire. The least attractive bit about the car. I've never met anybody in my life with even the slightest motivation, the slightest fucking inkling of a, you know what I really want to do? What my big motivation for the next month or so? I need my fucking car tires painted. I need like some fleas or some Mickey Mouse paintings on my car tire. What the fuck would you even put on it? What the fuck would you even put on it, man? Anyway, I've mentioned this plenty of times in this video alone, but the family does in fact have 4 cats. However, they no longer have 4 cats, right? The amount of cats has decreased significantly. And you might think, you know, like regular fucking people, that they gave those cats to a shelter or something, which obviously isn't the best because shelters are very overcrowded, but they can't have the cat. They don't really have any other choice in the matter unless they give it to a friend or a family member. You know what I mean, right? So hopefully they got rid of the cats in a nice, healthy, humane way. You know where I'm going with this already. Let's just see what they...
After debating for some time, we decided we will not have indoor cats when we move. Prior to me and Drew getting together, I had 1 cat and he had 1 cat. The cat that he had was a stray that came in from outside, and the cat that I had was a cat that I received from a friend. Becoming a family, we brought in 2 other stray cats. So at one point, we did have 4 cats in this apartment. That seriously did not last long, not even more than a couple of weeks. And then my cat Conscious, who has always been a free spirit, wanted to go outside, and so we let her do so. It's always been my opinion that if you have cats and they act like they want to go outside, let them outside. They're animals. And I don't mean for that to sound any bit insensitive. To me, it seems like you're doing the cat a disfavor when they're asking to go outside. That's where they want to be happy, and you're not letting them go. And let's be honest, as much as we love our fur babies, they sure do mess up the inside. I won't miss waking up to cat hair all over my counters. And yes, I am aware that's probably more than likely why we dealt with a flea issue to begin with. We just wanted our kid...
Mate, that cat looks fucking livid. I've never seen a cat look more pissed off in my entire life. Look at the way it's furrowing its fucking eyebrows, the mad cat.
That's a relaxed cat, I hope you know that.
No, that's not relaxed. Mate, look how fucking angry it looks. It looks like it's gonna... I'm scared looking at it. It's like it's gonna beat... It's gonna beat the shit out of me.
Its eyes are half closed, it's in a relaxed state.
It's doing this. It's doing this.
Yeah, relax.
This is not the face I make when I'm relaxed.
You're a cat.
We just wanted our kids to experience having their fur babies inside with all the cuddles they wanted. But we feel now it's just the best interest in all of our family members to have them just be outdoor kitties.
Another side note, I know it's just perspective, but the way that this photo's taken, the cat looks fucking huge. It looks bigger than the kid, for fuck's sake. Look at that. It looks like the cat's just like stood up and is taller than the kids. But anyway, you just get the idea. They think, oh, if the cats want to go outside, you should let them outside because they're animals. They can do what they want. I'll bear that in mind next time my dog wants to eat my 2-year-old nephew. It's like, oh, sorry, little Jimmy, but Ruffles wants to have a bit of a play, and, you know, he's an animal, so I should let him do what he wants. But in terms of letting your indoor cats outside, I'm not too well versed. I'm not a fucking catologist. I know some of yous are, but this TikToker, who goes by the name of Morgan, has made a video explaining in way better ways than I could about why this is harmful, so we'll give it a watch.
The resilient Jenkins, Stephanie, decided that she was going to put her cats outside instead of finding a home for them because they are being evicted in 2 weeks, actually less than 2 weeks. Here she is cleaning the little area, and let me just provide y'all with some receipts.
act like they want to go outside, let them outside. They're animals. And I don't mean for that to sound any bit insensitive. To me, it seems like you're doing the cat a disfavor when they're asking to go outside. That's where they want to be.
Just because your cats want to be outside does not mean that you get to dump them outside because you're being evicted. Where I live, there is literally an APL, or you can take them to a shelter if you cannot provide a home for them. It literally does not matter if your cats like to go outside, but you're literally abandoning them and leaving them. And the fact that you're seen cleaning up that whole area instead of Drew helping you is crazy. So he can record you walking to the dumpster to throw away all the cat stuff, but he can't record himself helping you. I'm pretty sure dumping animals outside is illegal.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Put it more succinctly than I ever could. Who needs a 1 hour Dankyjabo video when you can watch a 1 minute and 8 second Morgan video? We have shelters here in Scotland. I'm sure you guys have seen this picture of me with Mello the ferret. That ferret is in fact from a shelter, and if I wanted to get rid of the ferret, I would just give him back to the shelter, because that's what the shelters are for. And I understand that a lot of shelters in America are in fact overcrowded, which is why the cats were strays to begin with, probably. But that simply just isn't an excuse to abandon and dump them. But there are better ways of going about it, and as much as I advocate for getting rid of the cats, like I said in my last video, this is not the way to do it. This is like me saying that being a family of 7 in a 1-bedroom apartment is in fact a problem, and your response is to kill 4 of your children. It's like, yeah, I guess in a weird, fucked up way you remedied your problem, but you're also a deranged fucking psychopath. I lastly went on Stephanie's Facebook and commented that this is what garbage people do, they just leave the animals to fend for themselves, to which Stephanie, the reasonable old Stephanie that we all know and love by now, responded with this. When did I say that they aren't coming with us? I just said they'd be outdoor, and I don't see the issue with that. Right, so what I think is happening here, because she responded with a much longer response that we'll get to later. What I think is happening here is that having 4 cats, understandably, is even more of a barrier to find a new place. Because if the new landlord of whatever place they want to go to is having a hard time reasoning with the fact that they're going to have like 5 children and 2 unemployed adults, I don't think that adding 4 cats to that whole deal is going to make it any easier for them to go, oh yeah, no issue. So in a way, she is kind of abandoning the cats, because as much as you might allow them to be outdoors, they are still your cats. You need to have litter boxes inside. They will still be shitting and pissing inside your house. You still need to feed them. You still need to take care of them. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. Haha, and your name is Karen. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but worrying about the well-being about 5 children and 4 innocent cats is one of the most Karen behaviors that I've ever seen in my entire life. How dare you genuinely care about the well-being of the people who live on the same planet as you? That is fucking... God, get over yourself, you egotistical fuck. When we decided to have indoor-outdoor cats, we took the extra step to take the 3 male cats to get neutered, and we kept them in the home to heal. The cats have always been indoor-outdoor cats. The only time they spent the majority of the time in the home was during cold weather spikes. But even then, one of the cats chooses to be outside most of the year. That's where she wants to be. Literally not what you said in the video. You're backtracking here. You said in the video that they're indoor cats and you were trying to convert them into being outdoor cats. This is what I mean about you claiming that other people are lying about you and these horrible mamas are making up lies and gossip. It's like, no, the videos exist. It's right there. We can see what you said. You can't just lie about it now. If I lost supporters over this, that's it. What it is. I said nothing about abandoning any animals. People choose to hear what they want to, and it's a risk we take when being open and honest on social media. I'm sharing the real raw truths of what's happening in our life. If you can't be supportive and understanding, then it's just not for you. Her saying that people only hear what they want to hear, to me, is really fucking funny, because I imagine a situation where someone sat there talking about, like, God, nature is so beautiful, and I love the stars and the skies, and the cherries and the bees, and the birds, and the trees. Like, the world is just so beautiful, and even though I want to exterminate the entirety of South America, there's just a lot to appreciate about the planet. And if someone was to respond to that with like, whoa, what was that thing about South America? What? Oh, come on! Why are you only listening to that bit? You're only hearing what you want to hear. What about the bit where I said there's a lot to appreciate, you dick? Like, why are you only focusing on the bad things? It's like, well, are we really only hearing what we want to hear, or are you saying certain things that are so fucked up that we need to sort of zone in on them? You know what I mean? I don't think that anybody wants to hear that your cats and your kids are going through a bad time and that you can't find a place to live in. I personally don't want to hear that, but it's what I'm hearing because you're grossly irresponsible.
A little later than I was anticipating to post. I was busy baby making with the hubby, you know what I'm saying? I'm just playing. I just thought I'd give you guys your latest shish to talk so you can make your car payments next month. But for real, I'd really like to know what y'all's issue is with me and Drew, because personally, what have we ever actually done to either of you? That's right, absolutely not shit.
Without doubt, this is a fucking critique that a lot of really shitty people online and use that never makes any sense. Like, imagine if P. Diddy came out one day and went like, but you personally, the person watching me make this video, what have I done to you? It's like, nothing. I'm just a 14-year-old in fucking Slovenia. But I'm allowed to still be angry at the really shitty things that you have done to my fellow man, you know what I mean? It's like, just because you haven't directly affected me, that does not mean that I am not allowed to hate you. Because you're a dick.
That's right, absolutely not shit. And if you want to go and be like, yeah, well, the baby mamas, okay, but they didn't have no issue with us until we went viral. If that doesn't speak levels as to what their intention was, I don't know. I'm not going to keep explaining that.
So people are obviously going to respond with, yeah, but what about the people who you actually have done bad things to? Well, they only had a problem with us when we went viral. It's like, no. They've had a problem with you for a while, but now people only know about those problems because you are viral. It's really not that difficult to understand. No one would know about the problems they had if nobody knew about you, but people do know about you, and thus people know about the problems that these baby mamas do have. And we'll get to those problems later. And it's very obvious that those problems aren't just a result of wanting virality.
And that themselves. Like, really, did you go back and watch videos? Did they speak of us beforehand? And I'm not even referring to just baby mamas at this.
Well, why the fuck would they talk about you beforehand? Regular people don't tend to go online and air out all their grievances with random people that nobody knows who aren't public figures. Like, could you imagine if I made a video and I sat here and talked about how much I hated my ex-girlfriend or something? It's like, this is not a conversation for the internet. And that's strictly mine and whatever girl I might have been talking about's business. I don't even have an ex-girlfriend, by the way. It was just purely a hypothetical. But either way, it wouldn't have mattered, and yous don't even need to know that. Like, it doesn't matter. Why would I talk about it doesn't, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. It's completely different when said person has gone viral and is now lying about you or damaging your children. Then I understand why you would go online and air out your grievances with said person. We received another denial today, and that was a bummer, but we also got in contact with a social worker who will be helping us going forward. I'm really hoping she is able to find us some answers within our time frame. We appreciate the prayers and everyone checking in on us. Please know I plan to be way more active with subscribers after we move and get the family settled. I hope everyone enjoys their evening. For the record, she's talking about her subscribers in terms of like people who are paying to watch extra content for the Resilient Jenkins. Because for some reason there are people out there who want to financially support this girl, which I guess is more understandable in this case than somebody like Ashley Trevino, because this is a family with not much money who want to support their children. I can understand how some people come to the rationalization of, I want to help this girl provide for her family because I feel bad for their kids. Like, I get it. I wouldn't do it, but I get it. Only reason I wouldn't do it is because I would much rather, you know, donate to a charity or for a cause that I know where the money's going, I know how it'll be spent, I know exactly what the intentions are, which I don't with this woman. I don't want to donate $50 to this family and have some of it spent on a PS4 game for Drew, for example, you know what I mean? Anyway, now it's time to move on to Drew's previous ex-partners who have come out, some of which we've spoken about before, but either which way, they are talking about new developments that have come up and new lies that need to be unmasked. We'll start with Nails by Arlita, who, if you've watched my last videos on these people, you'll be very aware of by now. Off the bat, before we even watch anything of hers about the Resilient Jenkins, I immediately get the vibe that she isn't using them for relevancy or money or whatever Stephanie is claiming, because when you look at her TikTok account, it comes across as a really genuine, honest nails page. Like, she just seems like a normal, honest worker trying to promote her business through TikTok and doing a really good job on people's nails. You can't really get any more honest than that, really. And in a whole situation full of weird creeps and lazy bums, it's nice to see somebody who works an honest living and is trying to make something out of themselves on TikTok and using it in a good, productive way. And when you scroll on this TikTok page, there's only a couple videos, that maybe like 2% on the Resilient Jenkins whenever something needs to be said about them. It's not as though this whole account is dedicated to preying upon the Resilient Jenkins' relevancy. I mean, I'm scrolling right now and even 2% is being too mean. It's not even 2%, it's like less than 1%.
Alright, I'm home now after picking up one of the kids from school and the other one's at basketball practice. But let's address this, because this girl right here really trying to say I'm monetizing off of her shit. I haven't said nothing about this situation since October. I just been in the comments saying little shit here and there. But let's address this. Let's address this. For you to sit up here and say that I'm monetizing off of your shit when you simply exposed yourself and said you wanted to go viral, that's on you. Like, it's seriously on you. There's no lies being told about you.
Yeah, exactly. This lassie here hasn't made a video on you since you fucking lied about her publicly, about her using you for clout. It's like she had that one little spat with Drew and Stephanie when they fucking lied about her publicly and talked about the children or whatever, which is completely justified in my opinion, because this girl is worried for her kid. And she hasn't said a word about you since on her page, so for you to say that she's using you is ridiculous. To call anybody fame hungry is grossly ironic coming from you, by the way, Stephanie. You're literally collecting children and cats like they're fucking Pokemon because you know it'll get you a bit of extra views on TikTok, even if it is at the detriment of your entire fucking family.
So when I post the conversations that I had back with Andrew in the past, because I know he likes to make it seem like I'm the bitter baby mama. Like I try to keep his kid away from him.
That's also ridiculous, by the way. There is nobody on the planet who would be bitter after losing somebody like Drew. Nobody listens to Someone Like You by Adele and replaces the you with Drew, because that would never fucking happen. Nobody is pining over Drew. No one is looking at these videos and going, God, I wish I had a husband like Drew, or a wife like Drew even. He seems like the worst nightmare of a partner for anybody, let alone somebody with 5 children to take care of. I don't even have time to play video games, and I'm just a fucking YouTuber. If I had 5 fucking children on top of that, God, I don't think I'd even own anything video game related.
You literally gave yourselves away. Like I told y'all back in October. I literally said it in October. Nobody knew where he was. Until you, Stephanie, decided to put y'all living situation out there for people to see. And then I came out. Because you were already being dragged about how y'all living. Right? Y'all was already being dragged about how you was living. I mean, you had some people who I still find weird to be in your comments trying to say, oh, you're doing the best you can as a mom, blah, 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 blah. No, the fuck you're not.
Can I just say, by the way, in this recording, I've been screaming so much, I've actually given myself an ulcer because my molars have bitten the inside of my cheek for whatever reason, and I'm not happy about it, so subscribe, because I am powering through the rest of this recording, even though I'm in grave pain. That's the worst thing that Stephanie has ever done in her entire life, by the way. All this stuff about the kids or whatever, toss it aside. She gave Dankyjabo an ulcer, and that is not something that can be forgiven.
You're not. You're absolutely not. And the funny thing about this is when I post the conversations that I had with him in the past about everything. Yeah. What you gonna speak on about that?
Don't you worry, my little munchkins. Don't worry, your sorry little bottoms. We will get to those texts later on.
Let's be clear. I've been making money. I don't have to use social media to make money, unlike you. Deadass, unlike you. You know, I don't have to glorify my life. I don't. I work. I've been working since I was 16. So before I even had kids, I've been working. So I've been making money.
Usually, I think people are dead unlikable when they flex their income or talk about how much money they're making. Like when Biba did it recently. I fucking love Biba. But when she went off on that weird tangent about like, yeah, well, guess what? I actually make more money than you all, so shut the fuck up. It's like, oh god, mate, why are you doing this? It's just so unrelated. It does not help anybody here. But in a case like this, where she's being accused of using the resilient Jenkins, using her kid that she is genuinely worried for clout and money, when she has a successful business from the looks of things that she uses TikTok to promote, I think it's completely justified that she's out here basically saying, look, you and your husband are fucking unemployed and the only thing that you have is to degrade yourself to shit TikTok videos where you clean your house every now and then and talk about how hard your life is. I'm out here making an actual honest living, so don't you dare speak on my living arrangement. I think that that is completely fair enough from Ali to her.
You keep wanting to have your name tied to the Jenkins and y'all not even married. You need to address the shit that you got dealing with, because from what I know, the one that you're actually married to is in jail because of doing what he did to his mama and what he did to a little girl. That's what you need to be addressing.
Yeah, I forgot about all of that, by the way. That is mental. I'll play a clip from my previous video so that you can actually get a vibe, get an idea of what she's talking about there. If you see my previous videos, skip to this timestamp and then you can skip that whole segment. But for those who didn't know, buckle up because this one's a real fucking doozy. 26-year-old registered sex offender from Washington is being held without bail after he was charged with kidnapping and sexually abusing a child under 14 in Marion County. Jeremiah Christian Thompson Thompson was arrested on a warrant by Salem police on April 6th and charged with 2 counts of first-degree sexual abuse, first-degree unlawful sexual penetration, and first-degree kidnapping. Thompson allegedly kidnapped and sexually abused the victim, who was under 14, on March 17th in Marion County, according to court documents. Now, as I'm sure you can already kind of infer, this man here is Stephanie's ex-husband, and a lot of people have been giving her shit for this. A lot of people have been saying, why would you marry this person and have kids with them? And on one hand, I definitely see why, because, well, we'll talk more about it later. She definitely knew that he was a wrong'un. Like, she knew. But yeah, when this crime was announced, Stephanie made a TikTok announcing it and, you know, sort of saying how disappointed she was and how horrified she was that an ex-husband of her would do something so genuinely heinous, like evil, like this. However, you have to imagine how much of that surprise is genuine when you consider what this man was up to before they had even met and what she knew about him before going into the relationship with him. Because before they had, you know, met, he was already guilty of doing the same thing to another child. Actually, scratch that. 2 other children. At the age of 15, Thompson sexually assaulted a 7-year-old girl known to him. When he was 16, Thompson attempted to sexually assault a 60-year-old female known to him. He was convicted of communication with a minor for immoral purpose and to 4th-degree assault with sexual motivation. In 2012, at age 19, Thompson sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl. That was all known by Stephanie before she made the conscious decision to have 2 children with this man. Now, you might have caught that there if you're a little bit astute, but one of the victims was a 60-year-old woman who isn't a minor. It was a mother. More specifically, his mother. And once again, Stephanie, knowing all of this, thought, yeah, this is a good person to make the father of my children. I mean, nothing says good father material like a man who doesn't respect children or mothers.
Matter of fact, if Andrew's dad was around, because one thing he didn't play about was me and his first grandchild. He would have chewed you up, spit you out. You and Andrew. Because he was nothing to play with. At all.
She's kind of deep, man, and this is some personal shit. Usually, I hate when people bring this stuff to the internet, but Stephanie fucking started it. And interestingly, we'll talk about another one of Drew's exes later on in this video. They say the exact same thing about Drew's dad. So it's not as though this is just one isolated instance where someone's trying to make like a big, powerful point.
You guys are not even really married, so you keep calling him your husband. But let's address a few things here, because I can't speak on Desiree, because I don't know that situation. I only know my situation.
Desiree is another one of the baby mamas, by the way, who we'll cover after Arlita, who has gone to court with Drew recently and has talked about that whole thing very publicly. There's also been some controversy over one of the kids' black eyes and some stuff about how Stephanie was mistreating them and maybe, like, you know, physically assaulted them to give them said black eye. But again, we'll get to all that later. Let's finish this first.
Because let's be real. I've already spoke this over his life 12 years ago. 12 years ago, I literally said nothing good will come to you because of what you've done to my child. I said that 12 years ago. How's it looking for you? How's it looking for you? Because everything is literally hitting the fan.
Very ominous. Now, this video is 10 minutes long, and she goes over all her grievances. You can go visit her channel if you want to see the full 10 minutes, but for now, I'm more interested in these text messages that she's been referencing throughout this video. So let's have a look at these leaks, and let's see how much of a piece of shit Drew actually is when the camera isn't on. So the messages start off with Arlita saying, look, you don't want to talk to me right now, but we need to have a chat about our son. He pies her off, which is immature from the outside looking in, but we don't know all the specifics of their relationship. I personally don't understand pieing off the mother of your actual children. But again, we don't know the specifics here. I'm not going to judge too heavy yet. He still had Arlita tied to his dental checkup, sort of stuff like that. So she replies, take me off your shit, which is totally fair enough. I can judge that. He finally responds like 4 years after this whole thing went down, when Arlita talks about Anthony's kindergarten graduation. He then goes to the graduation. There doesn't seem to be too much wrong with this interaction here. The next few slides are actually really fucking wholesome. They talk a bit about Drew's previous, you know, drug problem, but how it's sorted now. How he'll never do it again. He asks about their son, stuff like that. It's pretty standard stuff. Nothing wrong with those slides either, but we'll continue. So then about a year later, she sends a message to Drew sending him the son's report card, talking about how well they're doing, just a pretty reasonable update. Drew doesn't respond from the looks of things. And then 2 years later, she sends Drew a message asking him if he is able to meet with Anthony because Anthony wants to see his father. Some messages were then cut out. I'm not too sure what happened in between this message and the last one that we talked about, but it seems as though Drew wasn't too willing to meet up with Anthony. Wow, what can I say? Congratulations on your new son. Maybe one day Anthony will get a chance to know his other two siblings. I don't know how you can really go on and not have no contact with Anthony like he doesn't exist. You haven't seen him in 5 years. Andrew and I have our son in counseling because he started asking questions about you this year, and all he wants to do is know his father. He wants to get to know you. He literally thought I was hiding you from him, when in reality I didn't want to get his hopes up on anything. He has literally cried because he doesn't understand. Do you know how hurtful that is for me to see our own son cry? He's an amazing kid who loves football, basketball, and baseball. He's even on a little league team and made it to minors his first year. I have never ever kept you away. You kept yourself away and missed out on so much. I hope you actually get a chance to read this. My number is still the same. Don't wait till it's too late to make up the relationship with your son. I tell him nothing but good things about you, where he gets his smarts from, and the love of basketball and baseball and football. For your son's sake, reach out to him. We don't see any messages after that, but I would assume that Drew aired her once again, and she seems pretty nice in those messages. As nice as you could be for somebody who's getting ignored by the father of their children. And I guess now she's come to the conclusion that you can only be nice for so long because she's going off. Maybe you just need to get custody of all them damn babies. To which Nails by Alita responds with absolutely not. It's a blunt response, but a very fucking reasonable one. There's a difference between a normal parent and Stephanie. Normal parents don't bite off more than they can fucking chew, even if it means they get a couple more views on TikTok. Okay, next we're gonna cover Desiree, another one of the baby mamas, and the whole black eye drama, but before we do that, I need to head off for a little bit because I live in a city full of crime, and quite frankly, this city needs me, so I'll catch you all in just a bit. I need to go for a few hours. Bye! I'm only saying that so if the next fucking shot is a little bit inconsistent, I don't get comments being like, ooh, what happened? Conspiracy theory? There's a clone of Dankyjabo and it's all AI! Just know that I'm not trying to fool yous. There's nothing to worry about. I am simply leaving the house for a few hours, and I will be back in just a second for you. Like, it's fine. Don't worry. Okay, hello everyone, we're back, and I'm wearing a different shirt now, but other than that, everything's the same, so you can rest easy. Nothing's gone wrong, right? We're okay. Anyways, this is a video of Desiree and Deshawn. Desiree obviously being the adult who had custody over Deshawn at this point in time. Deshawn is now under custody of the resilient Jenkins, and Desiree has recently come out with a whole host of complaints about the resilient Jenkins and how they've restricted access between her and her son, among some other things, but we'll get to that. I'll show you some of the evidence here. As you can see by these screenshots, this is a real custody case. I have no idea how Drew was able to gain custody over this child over Desiree. I will say though, this was filed on the 13th of November last year, so I'm not too sure how long these usually take, but there is a chance that maybe she is now trying to regain custody over Deshawn. In fact, I think that is exactly what is happening here. Perhaps the first time there wasn't actually a case or any legal stuff involved, and they just spoke it over and hashed it out over a cup of tea or something. Or knowing Drew, maybe a game of FIFA.
Can I ask if you're able to visit with him? So I should be able to do whatever I want with Deshawn, but his dad is being a retard. Where the fuck he's being right now, and doesn't let me talk to him, see him, nothing.
In fact, Desiree says that within 2 weeks, she went from seeing Drew and her son, Drew, who she was still seeing romantically, to Stephanie living in his apartment.
Or Stephanie met him online and then 2 weeks later moved in with him. Desiree had been at that same apartment and spent the night there with Drew and Day Day. And then she went back, and that's when Stephanie's kids were running around. And next thing you know, she was cut off all communication.
So this is all obviously pretty shitty if it's going down exactly as Desiree is saying it's going down. Which I don't doubt for a second, because it doesn't really take much for me to believe that Desiree would be a better mother to this kid than Andrew. I think like 99% of people would manage to foster a more healthy environment for a child than Andrew and Stephanie. I think even a fucking 5-year-old could parent this kid better than they can. You could give Deshawn to a pack of wolves and he'd probably be better off than Andrew and fucking Stephanie. So one of the things that'll come out of this is a GoFundMe for Desiree to fight for custody over Deshawn Jenkins. Presumably this is for a lot of the legal stuff, which I imagine can get pretty pricey. I don't know the ins and outs. I've never been in a custody battle. I don't know the ins and outs of everything. I personally have never been in a custody battle. that you know of?
Yeah, we've gone to the school, Angela, and they are not cooperating. So, no, they won't let her just take him from the school. We have gone up there.
So yeah, this girl wasn't even allowed to pick up her own child from school because she wasn't on any of the paperwork. So she would probably go over to the school, try to pick the kid up, and then the school would go, whoa, wait. So what's up here, buddy? What the fuck are you doing? Why is this stranger come over to pick up their child from school? Which I'd imagine as a mother of said child would feel pretty fucking humiliating. But apparently this is all to Drew's liking because according to Desiree, Drew doesn't even want her to see her child. Drew doesn't actually even want her to see her child. Like, he is completely against that idea.
Wait, so you got the respond paper from this recent one you filed?
Yeah.
So then what did that say?
Just, I shouldn't get joint custody. I shouldn't get visitations. I should pay child support. I should pay all the court fees. He doesn't want nothing to do with me, and stepmom this and stepmom that, and da 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 da. I can't believe they're not giving you 50-50. Right? So, yeah, exactly. And his dad or she, them, whatever, on the paper for the response says, I don't need 50-50 or visitation.
Oh, and the paperwork wasn't in Drew's handwriting. It was in Stephanie's.
Oh, so Stephanie helped him.
Stephanie wrote it, like all like talking about everything. He signed and like dated it and stuff. Well, she even interjected herself all over the custody paperwork about stepmom this, stepmom that, and you can tell it's two different handwritings. The signature and the information he filled out was totally different.
Now look, I'm not going to pretend to have the inside scoop. I know exactly what's going on here. Maybe Drew is completely willing to, you know, have a 50-50 custody split and Stephanie is completely against the idea. Maybe it's the other way around. Who fucking knows? The fact is that these two probably have a history with each other. It's very obvious that they do not like each other now. Something might have happened. Something huge might have happened. It might be an accumulation of a bunch of small things. Maybe one did something really bad and the other has a stick up his ass about it. Maybe they just fucking hate each other for no reason. Maybe Desiree just hates the way that Drew is treating her kid, which is completely reasonable. I don't know what happened here, and I'm not going to pretend to know the answers. I will say that part of me doesn't like how public Desiree is being about this, I guess, plight to get her kid back, because in my mind, everything should be sorted privately in this sort of scenario. Like, the more of the kid's business is being aired out publicly for the rest of their lives, the more harm it'll cause, in my opinion. However, I do understand that she wants to garner attention for the fundraiser so that she can actually afford to get custody over this kid in a legal proceeding. So in that sense, it makes total reasonable sense. Like, I do not hold that against her that she wants to be public about it. And I do know for a fact that she would be a better parent to this kid than Drew would be. Well, I'm like 95% sure. I can't say anything for a fact. And the only reason I know that is because she has a full-time job and a 3-bedroom apartment.
And you have a job, Desiree?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, she works full-time.
She has a 3-bedroom apartment.
And you have stable housing, Desiree?
Yep.
He would have his own bedroom in a 3-bedroom.
What?
And her other son frequently photobombs her live streams.
You have custody of your other kids?
Yes. He's talking to him right there. Sigma!
Look, Tia said hi.
Hi. There also might be a silver lining on the horizon, as if there is a warrant out for Drew's arrest for non-payment of child support, this could potentially bode very well for Desiree come May.
That child support thing is actually a fucking great point, by the way, because, as we all know, Drew has a history with not paying child support and breaking the law every now and then. I will say, though, however, provided Desiree gets the amount of money needed to actually file and go through this proceeding as planned and as it should go, I don't see any reality where she doesn't win custody of this child. Like, if you showed any judge these two people and went, okay, so this bloke here has a TikTok where the only reason he's famous is because of how fucking badly he treats his kids, and they live in a 1-bedroom apartment with 4 other fucking children, or this girl here, who has a 3-bedroom apartment, the kid would get their own room, and she has a full-time job, actual responsible fucking functioning human, for any judge to look at that case and come to the conclusion of anything that isn't, we need to give this kid to Desiree right now, that's like some alternate reality that you could only enter by sniffing the cat piss of the resilient Jenkins' household too much. I don't even understand why Drew or Stephanie wouldn't want to share custody over this child if they genuinely wanted the best for said child. The only explanation, in my opinion, could possibly be that they just fucking hate Desiree to an extent. Like, they hate her. She's done something that has betrayed their trust and made them think, no, you are not responsible enough for us to trust you with our kid. Or maybe they know that it's bad PR if they lose a custody battle and they have to give their kid up to someone else. They know it'll look bad on them, TikTok-wise. But if that's the case, I'm afraid to tell you that that ship has already sailed. You already look like horrible fucking parents. There's no way it can get worse. And also, if PR is the reason why you're unwilling to give your child a better life, then if anything, that makes you look like worse parents. I genuinely believe that people would respect you a lot more if you just didn't fight this case and allow Desiree at least partial custody of this kid.
So the only way we're gonna see a judge is if we don't make an agreement in mediation, and with with that person, he's not gonna make it easy in mediation, so we're gonna have to go through a judge.
Stephanie is not married to Drew. They're nothing. She's still legally married to her ex-husband. She has no legal claim to this child.
When we have mediation, Stephanie can't even be in a room. Because it's not even about her. They ain't married. It's not her say.
Yeah, she definitely
She can't really say anything when we go to court because they're not married. She's going to try, and that's her fault if they kick her out the courtroom, which is fine with me because, baby.
Honestly, I think it's a great thing that Stephanie has no involvement in this case as much as she will try to be a part of it. She'll definitely talk about it on TikTok. Knowing her, she'll probably say, you know what? The legal system in this state and the judge, they just want clout from the resilient Jenkins. They're looking at all the virality that we have, all the views that I'm getting, how dirty my house is, and they're just fucking jealous because they know that if they give Deshawn over to Desiree, that they can get more followers on their TikTok because people will like them more.
I'm trying to push out this narrative about who the fuck I am. Ask the kid himself who he sees as mama.
Once more, missing the point entirely, which is that even abused children will tell other adults that they love their caregiver, their abuser. They'll even defend their abuser. Something you would think Stephanie would be wise to, having been in an abusive situation herself. You'd think, anyway.
I honestly cannot grasp how many women are the ones coming at me like this.
So would it surprise any of you then to learn that after Stephanie put out this TikTok, she made another video, this time for her paid subscribers.
Before I play this clip, like Cursed Eye, who made this video, thank you very much, my friend, by the way, but before I play this clip, just know that, like she said, this is a video for Stephanie's paid subscribers, so avert your eyes if you're not giving Stephanie free money every month for no reason.
I'm gonna show those stupid people out there that we kids are happy with our mom. Huh. And you're not gonna take that away from us. Or us.
And just in case it wasn't clear in the video who Stephanie's oldest daughter was talking about here, Stephanie will helpfully clarify it in the comments immediately after posting the video, writing, "My daughter wasn't calling any specific people stupid. She was just talking about the haters."
I also love the way that that kid was very much looking off camera to presumably Stephanie's face to see if she was doing a good job. I love my mum. She's so great, even though the house is a little bit dirty. The house is really clean all the time, mate. This is the best house ever. Even though the cats are fucking stinky no, the cats smell like dandelions and fucking daisies. And fuck all of you. Everyone watching this video, you're all a bunch of stuck-up fucking... just the haters. The haters, you... Go away, haters. Everyone else, I love you. Okay, next comes some of the allegations of physical abuse against Stephanie to her child. Apparently, Stephanie allegedly had given their child a black eye by, you know, assaulting them, basically. I'll play a quick TikTok now before I give you my opinion.
Called it like I saw it, and Stephanie's an abuser. She punched that little boy in the face when he was 6.5 years old. And this happened in 2022. When did Steph move in with Drew? In 2022. So this man lets a woman move in with him and then lets this woman punch his son in the face, giving his son a black eye. And then continue to let the woman live there?
I know that bit of writing is quite small. I found a separate document that you can zoom in a bit on. The children named above are in immediate danger because of the following facts. DHS called me yesterday to let me know his dad's girlfriend gave him a black eye. I have a picture to prove it from Child Welfare. See attached Exhibit 1. And then there's just a bunch of other legal gobbledygook in that sort of document there, but that's the important bit that we should know about. Now look, obviously this allegation does hold some sort of merit because it is Desiree that is making it. It is the mother of that child making this, you know, case against against them. It's not as though this is some random on TikTok who's like, you know what? I have a feeling that tonight is going to be a good night, but also that Stephanie is assaulting their child. Like, no, obviously it's Desiree saying it, so it does have more merit. But that being said, I'm still not comfortable going on video and saying, yeah, Stephanie did this 100%. She is an abuser and she kicks her children in the face. Because to be honest with you, that would just be grossly inappropriate without any corroborating evidence. Now, obviously, this case is going to court, so we'll know for a fact if, we'll know the outcome of the case, but I don't think we'll ever know truly if this is a thing that actually happened. We know the kid had a black eye, but we don't know how they got it. We don't know if Stephanie caused it. Like, we just don't know. And for anyone to pretend that they do know and be really certain about it, I think is disingenuous. I think that either which way, she does not deserve custody of the child. Like, whether or not she did it or not, that would be fucking awful if she did. But even if she didn't, it does not weaken Desiree's case by any means. Now, Stephanie has actually responded to this allegation in a Facebook comment, so I'll read that out now. Can you address the allegations of Deshawn's black eye? Why should I? Nobody that claims to know what they're talking about was even there. I would never punch a child. That's the most I'm saying about it. You can make of that what you will, but I am not making any definitive statements here, because it's not my place, really. Now, if you want to look at something that I really am confident in talking about, then have a look at this. Making the breakfast I know he'll eat, because if I don't, he won't eat, and it'll somehow be mine or the kid's fault. This took me about 5 hours originally to decipher what it meant. Sounds like the blurb of a really, like, shit Batman novel, but what I think it means is, I'm making breakfast for my kid because if he doesn't eat, then somehow it's my fault. Now, I don't think I need to explain how grim of a statement that is, and just how obviously incorrect and abusive that statement is. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? If your kid doesn't eat because he doesn't have food, then yes, it is your fault. It'll somehow be mine or the kid's fault. It's not the kid's fault. I don't know why you've added that in there like it's something that anybody will think. If the kid does not have food to eat, it's not his fault. He's not a chef.
So she's saying that, like, she's gonna get judged for giving him fucking a breakfast that is, like, supposedly unhealthy. Because she'll get blamed if he doesn't eat anything.
No, but this is healthy food. It's fucking eggs and meat and potatoes. Looks like a good breakfast, to be fair. I would eat that. Oh, hang on. My daughters didn't want much of this. They ended up eating toast and fruit. I don't understand why you've posted this TikTok, my friend. It just comes across really fucking strange. It doesn't matter what I post. You'll have your opinions regardless of its fact or not. I try to be authentic and real. Relationships take work and commitment. Drew could give a fuck if you'll talk crap about him. Drew couldn't give a fuck. Drew could give a fuck means that he's, like, cowering in bed every day because of what we're saying about him. Which could be true. Maybe you're accidentally being honest there. We're both used to unsolicited opinions at this point, so say what you want, but I'm posting this for the mamas at home who do the most every day and feel like it's not ever enough. Hashtag hormones. Hashtag solo parenting. You're not a solo parent. You have fucking Drew. Why would you put that hashtag there? You're such a strange little woman, aren't you? This is so weird. Like, you're proper odd. I don't even have a joke to tell. You're just fucking perplexing, genuinely.
So bear with my awkward self because these talking videos I'm just not quite comfortable with quite yet. But this post was a strategic post on my part. Recently, I've been having a lot of couples pop up in my algorithm that have these, like, quote-unquote couple issues going on.
I was really trying something strategic with this post. I will make a follow-up post tomorrow, but please understand that the caption was merely a rage bait to show how easily people judge. This is so dumb. So this is obviously her talking about the video that we just watched, which according to her, she was purposefully being provocative in, and then as like a weird social political statement of how easy it is to move people and make them judge you for undeserving reasons. First of all, this is not the great strategic chess move that you think it is, right? This isn't fucking battleships. You're not leading an army here. You're just a mum who has 5 children and is doing a fucking shit job. Also, you've not really done a great job at showing how easily people... This is like if I went to the park, took a shit on someone's dog, and then ate it, and then when people judged me for it, I went, look, it's so easy to get people to judge you nowadays. All I did was shit on the floor and then eat it like an actual fucking dog. And look, people are judging me for it. The world is just so silly. Like, why can't you all just mind your own business? Like, fair enough if people were having a go at you because they don't like the direction your toilet paper faces in the bathroom. If that was the greater point you were making and you were really angry that people were judging you for it, there's something to that. But this No, there's nothing! There is nothing! I've actually got a headache now talking about these people, so you know what? The video's over now. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 200k, and that's fucking brilliant. I never thought I'd get to this point. Thank yous all so much. You're all brilliant, except you. Not you, but him. That guy over there. Tell him to go fuck himself, but you're cool. Unless you're not subbed, but like, why would you be this far in the video if you're not subbed? That's creepy at this point if you're doing that. Either which way, have a good one. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So, yeah, bye.